What are you doing with just 1 hour of your day, not 8 hours, not a weekend, just one? Because I believe, and I know from experience, that 1 hour a day can change your entire life, and I'm not here to entertain you with hype. I'm here to give you something solid, something that works. Time is the one resource we all get equally, rich or poor, young or old, student or CEO. Every single person wakes up each morning with 24 hours. You can't save it, you can't rewind it, and no one can buy more of it. It doesn't matter how important you are. Your clock ticks at the same speed as everyone else's. That's what makes time the most honest resource on earth. It doesn't discriminate, it doesn't lie. It gives you exactly what it gives everyone else. A fresh 24 hours, delivered without bias, without favoritism, without fail. But here's the truth that hits hardest. Most people treat time like it's infinite. Like they've got a secret stash of it hidden somewhere for later. They waste it, postpone it, ignore it, and then one day they look back and wonder where it all went. Think about this. If someone stole $100 from your wallet, you'd probably be angry. You'd want it back. You might even take action. But if someone wastes an hour of your life, you shrug it off. Worse, you sometimes give it away without hesitation. Yet time, not money, is the most valuable thing you own. Money comes and goes. Time just goes. You don't feel the loss of time immediately. That's what makes it dangerous. It doesn't burn like a cut. It doesn't shout like a missed opportunity. It fades slowly, quietly, one distracted moment at a time. And when enough moments pass by unused, your dreams start collecting dust. Your potential remains buried. This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. Most people don't even realize how much time they let slip through their fingers. Let's break it down. 1 hour a day. It seems small, insignificant, but over the course of a year, that's 365 hours. That's over 9 full 40-hour work weeks. That's 2 months of full-time effort you could be investing into your dream, your health, your education, your craft. Whatever it is that could change your life. Now imagine what happens when that 1 hour goes unclaimed. Picture those 9 weeks evaporating. 1 hour a day traded for scrolling social media, watching shows, overthinking, overplanning, or simply doing nothing at all. Not because you meant to waste it, but because you never truly saw its value. Time hides in plain sight. It's disguised in the 10 minutes we hit snooze, the 30 minutes we spend doubting ourselves, the 20 minutes waiting for motivation to strike, the hour we spend watching someone else live their dream instead of pursuing our own. The honest truth is, most people don't lack time, they lack intention, they lack structure, they don't lack opportunity. They lack clarity on what that 1 hour could do for them if they just used it on purpose. Look at your schedule, not the packed one, the real one, the hours you control. You'll find it. That 1 hour is there, it's waiting, and it's not asking you to do everything at once. It's asking you to do something. Consistently, deliberately, courageously. I know people who have rebuilt their entire lives with one focused hour a day. I know a single mom who used 1 hour each night to study while her kids slept. 4 years later, she walked across the stage with a degree and a job offer. Not because she had more time, she had less than most, but because she saw that 1 hour as sacred. I know a man who was working double shifts and hated his job. He didn't have the energy to chase his dreams full time, but he found 1 hour before work every morning to write music. 5 years later, one of his songs hit the charts. People called him lucky. They didn't see the 1-800 quiet hours he put in before the world noticed. That's the magic of time. When you give it purpose, it gives you progress. It's not the massive overhaul that changes lives. It's not quitting your job overnight or pulling an all-nighter chasing a dream. It's the small, repeated acts. The hour that doesn't seem like much, but done consistently, transforms everything. No one wakes up successful. They grow into it, one intentional hour at a time. If you've ever felt stuck, lost, or overwhelmed, don't look for a dramatic rescue. Don't wait for perfect timing. Just find your hour. Treat it like it matters, because it does. Time is honest. It tells you exactly where your priorities are. Look at how you spend it, and you'll see who you're becoming. 1 hour doesn't seem like much. It's just 60 minutes, a tiny fraction of your day. But when that hour is used with purpose, day after day, it becomes something far more powerful. It becomes momentum, it becomes transformation, and over time it becomes mastery. There's a principle in finance called compound interest. The idea is simple. When you invest money and it earns interest, that interest starts earning interest. The growth multiplies, slowly at first. Then rapidly, what starts out as small gains becomes exponential growth. If you stay consistent, that same principle applies to your time, your habits, your knowledge, and your skills. 1 hour of focused effort a day may not change your life overnight. But give it a year, and that investment compounds. Give it 5 years, and it can completely redefine who you are. Most people overestimate what they can do in a week, and underestimate what they can do in a year. They sprint hard, get frustrated when they don't see instant results, and give up. But real progress doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. I once spoke to a woman who wanted to become fluent in Spanish. She said, "I just don't have the time to take classes." I asked her if she could give it 30 minutes in the morning and 30 in the evening, just 1 hour a day. She paused. "Yes," she said, "but it'll take forever." She was wrong. A year later, she had full conversations in Spanish. She didn't just learn the language. She used it to travel, connect with new people, and even land a new job where bilingual skills were required, all from a single hour a day. The hour isn't magic because it's an hour. It's magic because of what happens when that hour stacks. 1 hour a day for a month becomes 30 hours. That's a full work week of progress. Multiply that by 12, and you're looking at 365 hours in a year. That's more than some college-level courses require. That's more than some entrepreneurs spent preparing for their first business launch. That's more than most people ever spend intentionally developing a skill. Now imagine you applied those 365 hours to just one area of your life: fitness, writing, coding, financial literacy, public speaking, graphic design, whatever it is you've been saying you wish you had time for. You do have the time. You just have to stop waiting for huge blocks and start using what's already in front of you. I met a man at a conference who built a 6-figure business from his kitchen table. No capital, no team, just 1 hour a night after putting his kids to bed. He didn't quit his job or make a big announcement on social media. He simply sat down every night and worked. When I asked him how he kept going, he said, "I reminded myself that 1 hour a day was still better than 0. And if I gave it 5 years, I could build something real." He was right. He didn't grow fast, but he grew. And when the growth starts compounding, the results start speaking for themselves. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the distance between where you are and where you want to be. But the hour is the bridge. It's how you close the gap, one brick at a time, one lesson, one repetition, one honest hour of effort. If you want to get in shape, one intense gym session won't change anything. But 1 hour of movement done consistently will transform your body. If you want to become a better writer, reading one book won't do it. But reading 20 pages a day, then writing every day, that's how books get written, that's how skills are sharpened, that's how voices are found. Progress rarely announces itself. It shows up quietly, often unnoticed. But every time you show up, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, you're planting seeds. You don't see the tree yet, but that doesn't mean the roots aren't growing. You can't shortcut mastery, but you can accelerate it by showing up daily. The power is in repetition. The breakthrough comes not from trying harder, but from not quitting. Because what you do consistently matters more than what you do occasionally. The growth that matters doesn't come in sprints. It comes in steps. The people who win long-term are not the most gifted, but the most consistent. The ones who give 1 hour a day, even when no one's watching. Especially when no one's watching. That 1 hour you've been overlooking, it's not just time, it's the blueprint, the secret weapon, The difference between staying stuck and stepping into who you were meant to become. We live in a world obsessed with talent. From the time we're children, we're taught to admire the gifted, the natural athlete, the kid who could play piano without lessons, the student who aced every test without trying. We celebrate raw ability as if it's the deciding factor in success. But when you start looking closer, when you study what actually builds success over time, you begin to see something different. You see a quiet pattern. You see the people who weren't the smartest, fastest, or most talented. You see the ones who kept showing up, the ones who practiced, who learned, who worked, not once in a while but daily, consistently, intentionally. Focused effort beats occasional genius every single time. Talent might give someone a head start, but it's work ethic that wins the race. Talent can be a blessing, but it can also become a trap. Because when things come easy, we don't always develop the habit of grinding through resistance. The habit of doing the work when it's boring, when it's hard, when no one is clapping. There's a story about a young man who asked a famous writer, "How do you write books that change people's lives?" The writer smiled and said, "I write 500 words every day, rain or shine. No excuses." The young man seemed disappointed. He wanted the secret formula, the magic insight, but that was it. Daily effort, unshakable routine, focus, that's the difference. Most people wait for a spark. They wait to feel inspired. They wait until the timing is just right. But those who achieve greatness aren't waiting. They're working. They're moving forward. They're doing small things well, again and again. Focus sharpens effort like a blade. It turns average into excellence. It turns hours into results. It turns practice into progress. There's science behind this. A study by psychologist Anders Ericsson, The Origin of the Well-Known 10-0-0-0-Hour Rule, found that the best performers in any field, music, sports, chess, medicine, weren't necessarily born talented. What separated them was something called deliberate practice. Not just repetition, but focused, intentional, difficult practice, done consistently over time. They didn't just show up once in a while and go through the motions. They carved out time, they trained with purpose. They pushed past their comfort zone, they reviewed, reflected, and adjusted. That's what led to mastery. That's what built real expertise. Think about your own life. How many times have you been interested in something but never gave it focused effort? You told yourself you'd try when you had more time, when you felt more ready, but readiness doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing, over and over again. A lot of people dabble in growth. They start strong. They're fired up for a few days, but then the excitement wears off, and so does the effort. That's not how transformation happens. Transformation belongs to the people who push past the first wave of motivation and learn to keep going without it. Motivation is a spark. Focus is a furnace. One fades quickly, the other keeps burning. I once coached a man in his mid-40s who wanted to become a software developer. He wasn't from a tech background. He didn't grow up with computers. People told him he was too old to start, but he gave 1 hour a day to learning. Coding, tutorials, small projects, practice problems. Just one focused hour. At first he felt lost, but he kept going. 6 months in, he was building websites. A year later, he got an internship. 2 years later, he was working full-time in a completely new industry. Not because he was a genius, but because he stayed focused. Because he didn't scatter his time across distractions. He concentrated his effort. Distraction is the enemy of growth. When your time is divided between a dozen things, none of them get your best. But when you focus, even for a short period, your progress compounds, you gain clarity, you gain traction, you move forward. In a world of noise, focus is rare, and because it's rare, it's powerful. It's the one thing that separates those who drift from those who drive, those who wish from those who achieve. It doesn't matter how talented you are if you're not focused. It doesn't matter how smart you are if you don't sit down and do the work. Genius isn't what takes you the farthest, focus is. Give something your focused attention for 1 hour a day, and you'll outperform people who only touch it when it's convenient. Every single time. People often say, I just need more time. But that isn't the truth. The truth is they need a better system, a better routine, a plan that reflects their priorities, not just their obligations. The idea of not having time is one of the most socially accepted excuses in the world. It lets people off the hook. It sounds reasonable. It feels honest, but scratch the surface and you'll find that it's not time people are lacking. It's direction, clarity, ownership. Take a look at the average day. Not a hectic, emergency-filled day, just an average one. Now break it down honestly. The 45 minutes spent mindlessly scrolling, the 20 minutes arguing over things that won't matter tomorrow, the 30 minutes watching a show you don't even care about. It adds up quickly. There's no judgment in that, just awareness. Because if you're not aware of where your time is going, you'll always feel like you're running out of it. One of the most powerful things a person can do is track their time for a single week. Write it down every hour. What were you doing? How did it serve you? Was it urgent or important? Necessary or habitual? Most people are shocked when they do this. They realize their schedule doesn't reflect their goals. It reflects their distractions. Their default habits, their autopilot. It's not that they're lazy. It's that they're unintentional. You don't need 10 extra hours in a day. You need to take control of one. That's where the change starts. I once worked with a woman who had 3 kids, a full-time job, and a side business. Her days were packed. She said she couldn't possibly find time to read or learn. But when we mapped out her day together, we found it 1 hour between 8:30 and 9:30 p.m. After the kids were asleep and before bed, she was using it to watch reruns on TV to unwind. She wasn't lazy. She was tired, but she also realized she could trade just a few nights of passive consumption for something active. She started reading business books. She journaled her thoughts. That hour became her space, not just for learning, but for thinking. Within a year, she had doubled her income, not by working more hours, but by thinking better during the ones she already had. You don't need more time. You need to protect the time you already have. People protect their money. They protect their passwords, but they leave their time wide open. Anyone can take it. A notification, a toxic conversation, a meaningless task that was never yours to do in the first place. Time is your most valuable, non-renewable resource. If you don't protect it, someone else will use it. You don't have to build a perfect schedule. You just need one part of your day, 1 hour, that's designed to move you forward. That's sacred. That's yours. Not borrowed, not shared, yours. That might mean waking up earlier. That might mean cutting back on things that don't serve your future. That might mean saying no, not because you don't care, but because you've finally decided to care about the right things. Structure doesn't restrict your freedom. It creates it. A solid plan doesn't take away your spontaneity. It gives you the peace of knowing what matters most is already handled. There's something empowering about knowing exactly what you'll do with your hour each day. No more waiting for inspiration. No more I'll do it later. You've made a plan and now you follow through. That's how confidence builds. That's how trust in yourself grows. One man I worked with set a rule: 1 hour of writing before any social media. It was simple, clear, non-negotiable. That 1 hour became the seed of his first book. That book led to speaking engagements. Those talks led to partnerships. And now he's full time in a field that used to be just a dream. Not because he had all day, because he planned for 1 hour and he honored it. People don't rise to the level of their goals. They fall to the level of their systems. If your system is chaotic, your results will be too. But if your system makes room for growth, if it honors your priorities, everything begins to shift. Waiting for the perfect time is a myth. Conditions won't align themselves. The world won't pause and say, now is your moment. You declare the moment by showing up for it, every day, for one planned, protected hour. You can't change your life until you change the way you think. That transformation doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly, quietly, in the spaces you rarely protect. One of those spaces is just 1 hour a day, not for working, not for doing, for thinking. We live in a world of noise. The moment we wake up, it starts: notifications, emails, traffic, conversations, distractions. Most people go days, even weeks, without spending a single uninterrupted hour with their own thoughts. They're constantly reacting, constantly moving, constantly consuming, but rarely reflecting. That's why an hour of intentional thought each day is so powerful. It gives your mind room to breathe. It allows you to reconnect with who you are beneath the chaos. It's not just about learning, it's about returning to yourself. Some of the most successful people in the world have built their lives around this habit. Not working harder, but thinking better. They understand that how you think affects how you act, and how you act determines what you create. Bill Gates takes solo think weeks. Warren Buffett spends 80% of his day reading and thinking. Jeff Bezos talks about making just a few high-quality decisions a day. These aren't people who lack responsibility. They just understand the value of mental space. You don't need a think week. You don't need 8 hours of silence. You need 1 hour, just one, where you step away from the noise and tune into what matters. That hour might be used for reading something that shifts your perspective. It might be for journaling, asking yourself hard questions, or reflecting on what's working and what isn't. It might be for meditation, walking, listening to podcasts, or simply sitting in silence. What matters most is the intention. That hour is about more than self, carrots about self-direction. One of the most overlooked benefits of daily thinking time is clarity. Without clarity, you waste energy on things that don't serve you. You say yes when you mean no. You chase goals that don't fulfill you. You stay busy, but not effective. Clarity comes when you give your mind the space to process, evaluate, and choose. It comes when you stop reacting and start designing. The hour you spend thinking is the hour you stop running in circles and start moving with purpose. There's a reason journaling has stood the test of time. Writing forces you to slow down and organize your thoughts. It gives form to feelings, language to your intuition, and direction to your decisions. 1 hour of writing each day can bring more progress than a full week of reactive doing. I met a young man once who was frustrated with his career. He was switching jobs every year, feeling lost and unfulfilled. I asked him what he did when he felt stuck. "I work harder," he said. "I take more shifts. I apply for more jobs." I asked a different question. "When was the last time you sat down and really thought about what you want?" He paused. "I don't think I ever have." That day, he started journaling every morning for 1 hour. It wasn't a magic trick. It didn't solve everything overnight, but within months, he had more clarity than ever before. He realized he wasn't just unhappy with his job. He was out of alignment with his values. That hour helped him reconnect with his purpose, which gave him the courage to pursue a path that finally made sense. When you change the way you think, you start noticing different opportunities. You begin responding to life instead of just reacting to it. You choose what to focus on instead of letting the world decide for you. So many people are stuck because they're too busy to think. Their calendars are full, their minds are cluttered, and their choices feel dictated by the pace of the world around them. But when you reclaim just 1 hour, you interrupt that cycle. You take your power back. You can't build a meaningful life on autopilot. You need time to step out of the current and ask, "Is this where I want to go?" You need time to challenge your beliefs, explore new ideas, and examine the stories you're telling yourself. 1 hour a day is all it takes to create that space. It's not about escaping life, it's about tuning into it more fully. It's about learning to hear your own voice before the world tells you who you should be. That single hour might be quiet. It might feel unproductive, but it's one of the most powerful investments you can make in your future. Because before you change anything on the outside, you have to realign what's happening on the inside. Here's the simple truth. You don't need to change your entire life in one grand moment. What you need is a commitment to show up each day, 1 hour at a time, with purpose and determination. 1 hour isn't just a fraction of your day. It's the building block of everything you want to achieve. That hour has the potential to transform your thinking. It has the power to sharpen your focus and amplify your efforts. When you invest just 1 hour each day in something that matters, no matter how small the progress may seem, you are laying the foundation for something extraordinary. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have achieved greatness, the ones who have overcome obstacles, the ones who live with purpose. They didn't get there by waiting for luck or hoping for a miracle. They got there by choosing to invest in themselves, 1 hour at a time, even when no one was watching. They made the decision to keep going when others gave up. 1 hour a day isn't a lot of time, but it's enough to change the trajectory of your life. You don't need more hours in the day. You need to make the most of the ones you already have. Every hour spent intentionally, every hour spent focused on growth, every hour spent moving toward your goals compounds. Slowly but surely, you'll find yourself on a path that once seemed impossible. As you leave here today, ask yourself, what can I do with just 1 hour? What can I start today that, over time, will change everything? The time is already there. The hour is waiting. The only thing standing between you and your future is your decision to begin. So, start today. Choose 1 hour, commit to it, be consistent, and watch how that 1 hour, when dedicated to your growth, can change your life in ways you never imagined.